Hi. Over the last couple of weeks, I've had a lot of emails from people asking about what sort of training do we do. Okay, well, when I had my gym in England, there was quite a few of us used to just get together and train. Um, that was people like Phil Rakes, Amit Goldsborough, Bart, Dan. You guys know who you are, and a few others used to come down and train with us on a fairly regular basis. So I'm going to give you an idea of the sort of thing that we used to do on physical training. Okay, so a couple of things first. So many people lack a bit of imagination when it comes to training. There's many clubs that I've been to, and they're still doing the same warm-up that they were doing 15, 20 years ago. And another thing that they do is they say, right, let's warm up, and immediately they start stretching and trying to do box splits and stuff like that. Woo, hold it there, all right? Don't do any stretching until you're warm. It's a bit of a key thing for you. Anyway, I'm going to assume that you know all that. So I'll give you an idea and some little tips, things that you can do on physical training. Okay, I'll give you a couple of samples of the sort of warm-ups that we would do before we start our actual training. So gym, fairly big size, so we'll start off just jogging around the gym first of all. And you do this for say 3 or 4 rounds with no rest, all right? So you don't take the 1 minute rest, you do the 3 minutes, 1 minute, but you don't take the 1 minute rest, you just go all the way through, 3 or 4 rounds. Just jogging around the room nice and steady, and you mix that up, you know, jogging forwards, backwards, sideways. Pick a body part, put it on the floor. So you might be jogging round, left hand down, right hand down. You just do that, carry on jogging round. Jog backwards, left hand down, right hand down, both hands down. Back break fall, rolling break fall, side break falls, left and right. And you just keep calling them out. And it's every few seconds. So it's non-stop, up and down, all the way around. Do that 3 or 4 rounds. Then we do our circuit. Now, what we do with that is we had exercise cards with the exercises printed on. And we would put 7 or 8 exercises at one end of the room and 7 or 8 exercises at the other end of the room. Now, one end is either lower body, upper body, or whole body exercises, and the other end is all stomach. So they'll be laid out 1 to 7 each end of the room. So you start one end, you run down to this end and do 2 of exercise 1. Run back, do 2 of exercise 1 at that end. Run back, exercise 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and so on until you've gone all the way round and done 2 of each exercise. Then you go round, do 4 of each exercise, then 6, then 8, then 10, then 12, then 14, and then back down again. 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. All the way around. So it's like a pyramid. Build it up, bring it back down. Now, the whole body exercises, or leg, or lower body, or upper body, would be things like, just some examples, like knee to chest jumps, burpees, cat curls, horrible leg things if you don't know what they are. Ask one of our guys, you'll find out. Things like that, squat thrust, alternate leg squat thrust, all that sort of stuff. This end, stomach only. So you do the crunches the way we do them, jackknives, all sorts of different crunches, leg raises, whatever. And mix it up like that. So you're always getting stomach, lower, upper, or full body, stomach, back and back and back. Work that all the way around. So that's then, you're now pretty much warmed up. That warm up with the jogging round and then the exercises, it's going to take you around about 25-30 minutes depending on what sort of speed you go at. On the circuit, start building it up to 10 and back down, then up to 12, back down, then up to 14, back down, depending on what your fitness level is. If you can't get all the way up and all the way back down, just get all the way up and then back down. Again, on the circuit, you can mix that up. You can do it at a steady pace. You can go at full speed. You can up and down with it. You go on the 2s. You can go slower. 4, speed it up. 6, slow it down. 8, speed it up. 10, slow it down, and so on. So use your imagination, mix it up, and then work it out depending on your own fitness level, push yourself and gradually build it up from there. Then we go on to some more training. We had several bags around the room, and a bag on the floor, or 2 bags on the floor usually. So you go around the bags, it may be punches only on one bag, punches and kicks on another, punches, kicks, knees, elbows on another. The bag on the floor, you might be doing ground and pound on that. Another bag, you might be picking it up and just slamming it to the floor. And we just do that in rounds, 3 minutes and 1 minute rest. Okay, and you just move around the bags. And that would be a little bit of a warm-up. As regards sparring and things like that, a lot of people have asked about sparring and how hard do you go and all this sort of stuff. Well, there's many, many types of sparring. If it's just for a warm-up and technical and you're learning, obviously you spar light and slow. Well, not slow, but you go light with it. Okay, you keep the power levels at a level whereby you're not going to hurt each other. Right? Obviously accidents occur, and when you're doing this, power levels tend to increase because somebody will start digging them in a little bit, and then you start digging them back, and it builds up and up and up. So you've got to have the discipline to realise when you're going too hard for the situational sparring that you're doing, and then drop the power back down, keep it safe. And we used to say that we just do 2 rounds of sparring, but our rounds were a little bit different. We had a CD from Owl's Gym. If you go there, owlsgym.co.uk, I think it is, they've got a boxing workout CD, and it's got 10 rounds on it, 3 minutes, 1 minute. So you've got the whole 10 rounds with some background music and all that sort of stuff, and a buzzer that goes off. Pardon me. And we put that on, but we didn't do rounds. We didn't do 3 minute, 1 minute. So when we said we did 1 round, it was just the CD, which is 10 rounds. Okay, so we do 10 rounds of boxing, and then 10 rounds of grappling, something like that. And during that period, we'd be mixing it up with different people. Okay, so you'd be training after 1 or 2 rounds, just depending on how many are there, you just shout change, and you change partners and just keep going. So that'd be a pretty intense sort of session, but it's what we used to do on a very regular basis, so like 3 times a week. Other times, sparring. Now, like I said, there's many types of sparring. There's situational sparring, and this is how we used to break it down. We'd have light technical sparring where you're practicing certain things and countering against them. So there's a degree of compliance, of course, because you're training and learning and you're helping each other. And then that sort of sparring can then be increased once you've got some trust with your training partner, in so much as they're not going to whack on an arm bar and snap your arm in pieces. They're going to apply it rather than snap it on. And then you can gradually take away compliance and work together on that. And that's something that you'll get the feel for and do yourselves as you train. When it came to the boxing sparring, we would do many types of situational sparring on that. Some examples for you is that you've got one guy who's the helper, if you like. He's the coach. He's the helper. And he'll be throwing out techniques, whether it be jab, cross, hooks, whatever, at a steady pace. Just a steady pace. He's not trying to hurt the other guy. It's just to touch so that the other guy knows that he could have been hit. I'll explain why in a moment. The defender does several types of defense. One is movement. Just movement. So what we would do is hands behind our back, and the helper, if you like, is throwing out the punches. To start with, it'll be the cadence of it would be something like 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, whatever it is. So that's the cadence of it. The defender, hands behind the back, has just got to move. He's got to get out of the way using body movement, head movement, footwork, positioning, and using the whole ring just to get out of the way all the time. And that'll be one type of situational sparring, if you like. That's where they're helping each other. That would then increase to the point whereby the guy, the defender, if you like, is allowed to have his gloves up, and he's just got to cover, move, and do that. The cadence then increases a little bit. And then you take it to the point whereby the helper now he's defending a bit as well, and he's throwing them with a little bit more venom. and the defender has got to move, and he can counter, but just a touch. And then you build up from there, whereby it then becomes light contact, and then occasionally you spar obviously full contact. So there's lots and lots of ways of doing it. Use your imagination with it, find different ways, and find ways that work for you. Okay. My recommendation is that depending on your skill level, even if you're very skillful, start it light and build it up, because your skill level could be here and your training partner's skill level might be here. So you need to work so that you can be in balance with each other. So you might be going faster, but you've got to go light. Another thing that we did in sparring was that your training partner chooses the power that you go at. Okay. That way you can spar with people at different levels, and they're not getting hurt, because one person, they might say, well, the hardest I ever want to be hit is, this hard. So you're sparring, you're only allowed to hit them that hard. You might say, well, you can hit me full speed and power if you like. So they're allowed to hit you that hard. But it's the choice of your training partner how hard he gets hit. Okay, that's another great way of doing it. That way you can have big heavyweights sparring with lightweights and stuff like that. And you can mix it up and work it yourselves. Just use a bit of imagination. Anyway, there's some quick training tips. I hope they've helped, and more soon.